well, that was awesome. Seriously, that was freaking amazing. By the end, like, I left that theater with such a good feeling. Like, I was like, man, that was so much fun. I had such a good time. It ended on such a high note. I'm so excited for the next one because there's gonna be another one. Like, it left itself open for a sequel, and with how successful and praised this movie has been, we're getting a sequel. There's gonna be a Nezha 3 at some point. So, if it's not obvious right out of the gate, I do recommend this movie. I mean, there's so much to love here. The animation is amazing. The action is amazing. The visuals are amazing. There's so much stuff that's done so well. Like, they really, I think, nailed Nezha's, like, movement with the fire wheels under his feet and, like, the way these characters fight each other. There's so much creativity to it and stuff. Mainly in the second half of the movie, because by the end I was feeling so good I almost forgot, and this is a good thing, I almost forgot that there was a lot in the first half that I was not really jiving with, and this was the same situation for the first movie, actually. The first movie is currently on Netflix, so I watched it yesterday before watching this second movie, and I'll say this. I meant what I said. Both of these movies have fantastic animation, fantastic action, more the second one, though, and fantastic visuals, again, more the second one. But they both also suffer from a problem where sometimes they're trying a little too hard to be funny and appeal to kids, where it gets really overly silly and sometimes downright stupid. It's such an interesting dichotomy because these movies include such incredible action and such dark themes. People die in these movies. Like, people freaking die. There are such dark tones and dark themes, which I enjoy, and, like, stuff that, doesn't talk down to kids, and such creative stuff that they do with the culture and with the elements and with what these characters are capable of. But then there's also a lot of scenes that make it clear how much the writers of these movies really love their pee-pee jokes, and fart jokes, and booger jokes, and fat guy jokes, and throw-up jokes, and drinking pee-pee jokes. It's like that scene in Angry Birds that everyone clowned on in the trailer, but, like, they've got a scene a lot like that in this movie, and I was like, what are you doing? And sometimes a really amazing action scene will suddenly get interrupted by a really stupid joke that sounds like a 5-year-old wrote it. But in the end, it's worth it. It's worth it to see the good parts, to get through those silly 5-year-old moments. And granted, Nezha is a 3-year-old kid, so I guess you could make an argument like that kind of humor kind of belongs here in some ways because the main character is a 3-year-old, so it makes sense we would have 3-year-old humor. But that doesn't mean I enjoy watching it. Like, I'm sitting there after the goddamn 8th fart joke, like, come on, am I watching a fucking Happy Madison movie? But then, suddenly, then they'll be like, oh my god, all of these people died and all of this crazy shit is going on. I'm like, really? After the fart and throw-up jokes, we're doing this now? Okay. It's like that change of tone in the Mulan movie when suddenly they get to that village. You know what I'm talking about. But, yeah, overall still really enjoyed both films. The second one has an amazing climax, just so cool to watch. And, I literally left this film thinking, I gotta get myself like a Nezha figure for the shelf. And, creators of the movie or studio, your Nezha merch sucks. You got like 2 options and one of them's a silly little big-headed I want a Nezha final form figure for my shelf. Can you please sell some of that, please? Like, I would love that so much. But yeah, I say but yeah a lot, don't I? So, let me give you a basic breakdown a little bit. I mean, it's like I said, if you get through the childish humor, you get to some really good stuff. But the Tale of Nezha is an old Chinese tale. It's I don't think it's quite as famous as Journey to the West, but it's a little close to that. And there's a lot of inaccuracies in this movie. Both of these movies are almost nothing like the actual Nezha story, but I also think that's part of the point. Both of these movies have a very defy fate and anti-conformity lesson to them, which is interesting coming out of China. And it reminds me of what Black Myth Wukong had. It had the same message: defy fate, go against the celestial court, anti-conformity. Like that was in Black Myth Wukong, and now it's in the Nezha stories. It's very interesting how China's media has been lately, and I'm all for it, man. Like, you're taking some of my favorite mythical characters, using them in really well-made products to promote a message that I agree with, and it's not like this in-your-face ruins the plot garbage. It serves the plot, which is really good. So, but yeah, it's almost nothing like the original Nezha story. I'll give some light spoilers here just to tell you the inaccuracies. Nezha in the original story was a total troublemaker, which they kind of have here, but he was, like, in the original story, Nezha, like, killed Ao Bing. In this story, he and Ao Bing are friends. In the original story, he and his dad became enemies to the point that they, like, battled it out with each other, and his dad burned down his temple and all this stuff. Ain't none of that stuff here. So, yeah, it's a very different story utilizing Nezha. So if you want an accurate portrayal of exactly how Nezha was supposed to be in the myths, this ain't it. But the whole point of these stories is that Nezha goes against fate. So it's kind of in that spirit that this movie doesn't quite follow the original story. What it does do, though, is it gives Nezha, like, his inherent powers. It gives him his weapons from the myth. It gives him his flame wheels. It gives him his ribbon thing, which is also in the myth, and his spear, and it's really cool to see that. It's like, we also have Ao Guang in these movies, and we actually get to see Ao Guang in his full, like, godly form at some points, and that's amazing. And I love that stuff. We get to see action involving gods, divine immortals, dragons, and warriors all at once fighting, and it's just incredible what they do with it. And it feels so good to see. Like, you get to see on the screen, like, they have hundreds or thousands of characters at once, like, colliding. It just looks absolutely amazing. And the visualization they do with it, they're so good at making things look grand. Like, when you get to see the Celestial Palace, it looks so grand, and it has these gorgeous, like, jade cranes, like, flying around and stuff like that. It's just, I just enjoy that stuff so much. Again, I'm not super into the baby humor, but I guess that's part of the point too, because again, it's a 3-year-old Nezha, so whatever. But yeah, and the movie did end, like, there's an after-credits scene joke that actually did have me and the audience laughing pretty hard at it, so that was good. Like, not all the humor is bad. There are some legitimately good jokes. It's just when the humor is a little too, again, 5-year-old Happy Madison audience style, that's when I'm like, okay, come on. I kind of wish we would have cut these scenes out of the movie and just focus on, you know, the actual plot, the character development, and the dark stuff and the fight stuff, then it would have been a lot better. So I can't quite give this movie a 10 out of 10 for those reasons. I honestly would have to pull it down for... and also both movies rely on, like, a misunderstanding storyline, which I'm not a big fan of, and you can see coming a mile away. So... I don't know. There was a reveal I didn't see coming, though, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, I would definitely take a point off for all the potty humor. I would also take another point off for the misunderstanding shit that's overly predictable. And yeah, I'm just sitting there in my seat like, get to the reveal, get to the reveal. I know that didn't happen the way you set it up to have happened. So... I would give this movie an 8 out of 10. It's really cool. It's a really cool film. The first film's also cool, but this one, like, when you get to the climax and everything they do with it, and by the way, there are action scenes before that that are also really cool, but the climax is absolutely unbelievable, and it becomes worth watching both movies just to get to that point, in my opinion. And they do actually manage to hit some emotional beats at the same time around that point. Like, there's a one character death that I was like, oh man, like, it got to me. So that's always a good sign too. Absolutely amazing. I'm gonna have to get into the spoilers now. Oh wait, no, there's one more thing I want to mention. I actually tried to watch the first Ne Zha movie a little while ago. I was watching it dubbed, and I turned it off after 10 minutes. I was like, I can't stand this. This is so unbelievably annoying. But then when it was on Netflix, there was the Mandarin Chinese version with subtitles. And I was like, all right, I'll try again. I watched it subbed. So much easier to get through. So much easier to get through. Because the dub was so annoying and so stupid, in my opinion. Like, everyone sounded so infuriatingly annoying. And it makes me wish I had gone and seen the sequel when it was... I think when it was in theaters before, it was subbed and in Chinese. But when I went, the only option was English dub. But it wasn't as bad in this one, but it was bad in the first one. I'm not even an anti-dub guy. I'll usually watch dubbed anime, but this was too much. This was too much with the first film. But second film was alright, dubbed. Wasn't bad. You just gotta get used to the fact that their lips don't match what they're saying. Alright, I'm gonna get into spoilers now. 3, 2, 1, spoilers. So, yeah, one of the inaccuracies in the first movie, so when he's born, he is born as a flesh orb like he's supposed to be. But in the myth, his father slices the flesh orb in half, and that's where the kid comes from. In the movie, though, the orb just forms into the kid. I didn't like that. I was like, come on, cut it in half. What's stopping you? You had my hopes up so well. Also, God, those chaos orb creature effects at the beginning of the first film were terrible. He looked like a Skylanders character. I'm having trouble remembering his name. I'm just going to say the Fat Master, because everyone keeps calling him fat. His character was annoying as shit. I'm sorry. I don't know if I ever really warmed up to that character. He was just so goddamn annoying. But what I did really like was Ne Zha's parents and Ne Zha himself. I liked his character. I liked how his parents cared about him. I loved the reveal in the first movie of how his dad found a way around his curse and was going to give his life for his. I actually didn't see that coming, so that was impressive. I like how they use what are they called? The stamp control things. That is a thing in a Chinese culture. And even there's a scene where a dead body falls out of a cart and he's got one of the labels on him. That is also a thing in Chinese culture. If you've ever seen a zhengxi, they always have those on them. But I loved that reveal with the parents. His parents were actually great characters, in my opinion. The villain in the first movie, I was like, all right, you're just kind of a stereotypical villain. But then he got a lot more development in the second movie and actually became way more interesting to the point that now I really want to see more of him. So that's awesome. And one great thing about the reveal of his dad was it made me totally believe now that Ne Zha wants to help his parents, because when he found out what they were willing to do for him, it completely changed his worldview. And there's more of that in the second movie with his mom's death. And it was a really hard-hitting moment. I did not foresee that the big-headed immortal was going to be the villain. I just thought the yellow-bowed guy was going to be the villain. And I remember as the yellow-bowed guy was using his bow in fights, I was like, why does his bow look like an antler? And then later the reveal that he's actually a stag demon, I was like, oh, of course. These are some good, small little reveals that I actually didn't see coming and had me going, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I also really loved that when the dragons of the other three cardinal directions began to fight, they also took like humanoid godly forms like Ao Guang did. That was incredibly awesome. God, the scene with all of the demon hunters getting on the tree to try to lock the cauldron, and it forms like they look like buds on a tree from a distance. It's just this beautiful iconography. Absolutely amazing. The scene where Ne Zha takes his full like adult form felt like such an incredible like anime moment with him taking like a new form and going into the battle, and then especially the villain taking his full like Master Roshi full power form. I felt like I was watching a really good anime during those moments. That was also incredible. That's the figure I want. I really want like full power adult-sized Ne Zha like as a figure. That would be so cool. Ao Bing was such an enjoyable character in these films. I remember thinking he was going to die in both movies because he dies in The Legend, and I legitimately didn't want him to die. And he technically does die. He just gets brought back twice. Oh god, a lot of great stuff there. One thing that works about this movie is that the characters are well fleshed out. Ao Guang is an interesting character. Ao Bing is an interesting character. Ne Zha is an interesting character. His parents are interesting characters. The villain, the villain's not a terrible character. I don't think he's fantastic, but when you find out what he's doing and why he's doing it, it's like, okay, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, like, you're kind of a dick, though. That end credit scene where he has to go, like, to the prison and it scans his face like a modern day. I don't know. I'm a sucker for jokes like that. And it's like, you can't read your face because you're too beat up and they have to reset it. And then later they're going back and it's like, oh, now you can't read your face because you're too healed. We got to beat the shit out of you. Like, that's hilarious. I loved that joke. Oh, man. But yeah, I did not enjoy the joke where, like, he pees in what he thinks is a bathroom and then later they're all drinking. I was like, oh, come on. Or when he pukes in a bowl, it's like, oh my god, I have to drink my puke. I'm like, come on. It's like, there's so many fart jokes in these movies. There was only one I laughed at in the first film during the fight where they all get clumped together and, like, the villain is, like, blowing to make them move, and then the Fat Master's farting to make them move the other way. So the Fat Master farts, and then the villain inhales to blow, and he accidentally inhales his fart. I was like, I actually laughed at that. I was like, God, I can't believe I laughed at that stupid joke, but that was the one fart joke I laughed at out of, like, 8 or 9. Like, Jesus Christ, with these fart jokes. There's also, oh my god, you have to eat my boogers to heal yourself. Oh, you didn't actually have to eat them, haha. It's like, God, people are eating farts, eating boogers, drinking pee, and drinking vomit in these movies. It's like, ew! Like, what? I don't understand, like, who we're appealing to in that. It's ridiculous. They do it so much. Stop doing it. It's not funny. It's funny maybe once. I don't know. Maybe kids would have laughed at that. There weren't any kids in my screening, so I honestly don't know. But, yeah, I think that's about everything I have to say about these films. Overall, really glad I watched them. I will definitely watch the third one when it comes out. Action was incredible. But they were incredibly inaccurate to the Ne Zha story, but again, I think that's the point. I like that you nailed the action and animation and visuals so well. I like that the characters all feel like they have a proper character to them. I like that I'm looking forward to what happens next. Please, enough with the baby potty humor. Please stop. Jesus Christ, these movies would be so much better if they didn't have that. Because I guarantee you, if I ever watch these movies, I'm skipping that shit. I am skipping to the end. Like, because I ain't rewatching that crap. And also, they make the demons really interesting, too, which is cool. Like, the demon designs even looked really cool. So, another great thing about the film. But that's about it. I don't know how to end videos.